Hello, welcome back to my channel if you're new here. Today, if you didn't read the title, I have a very extensive collective book haul. I think I have 31 total books that I've gotten in the mail. Actually, I think all of these are from the mail. Like, none of them I bought in person. So, I have a lot of books that I've just been collecting these last few weeks so that I can do one big book haul video because I don't know about you, but I love watching book hauls. I feel like it just opens me up to so many new books that I've never seen or heard of before. So let's go over the 31 new books that I got. I have no idea where I'm going to be able to fit them on my TBR shelf after I go through all of them, but that is an issue for future me. I have them in two separate piles right now, paperback and hardcover. Definitely have more paperback, but also like quite a few hardcover. I don't know, I'm just gonna start by grabbing things off the pile. First, we have The Curse of Soulwalker by Sharon Elwood, and this was gifted to me from the Nerd Fam. It actually came with like a really cool PR box as well, and this is, I think, just like a dark romantasy. Not sure when it comes out, but this is an arc that got sent to me. The commander of the undead Cursed Legion has led it in terrorizing and spilling blood throughout the kingdom. A young sorcerer lifts the curse, so then the main character and her army must learn to live among the people they have oppressed. I actually don't know if this has any romance in it. It might just be like a high fantasy book. I know a lot of people who got the arc and have read it have really enjoyed it, so I hope that I enjoy it as much as them. Also, I hope you guys don't mind if I'm not gonna know a ton about all of these books because I prefer to go into my books more blindly. I feel like the back synopsis of books gives way too much away. That is one thing about me as a reader. You will not catch me reading the backs of books before I buy them. But like ones that get sent to me, obviously I want to tell you more about them so that you guys are more aware. This next one I just got sent to me today, but this is Seashell Season by Holly Chamberlain. I've never heard of this author before, and it says a picturesque Maine beach town is the setting for Holly Chamberlain's touching and thought-provoking novel as a mother struggles to reconnect with her long-lost daughter. And that gives me Kristen Hanna vibes, just like those more very emotional topics that Kristen Hanna writes. So I love Kristen Hanna. Hopefully I love this as well. It's women's contemporary fiction, just like Kristen Hanna books. So I'm really interested to see if I like this, and then I might have to read more by this author. Next one I'm really excited for, Bride of the Shadow King by Sylvia Mercedes. This was sent to me by Ace Books, which is an imprint of like Penguin Random House, Berkeley, so thank you so much to the publisher for this. Now this is a romantasy book. It says an outcast princess makes a political marriage with a reluctant king to save both their kingdoms, and this is the first book in the Bride of the Shadow King series. I think this one's a little bit of enemies to lovers, maybe not entirely enemies, but like the king is not wanting to marry the princess or the prince, whatever he is. No, it's a king. He doesn't really want to marry the princess because he doesn't want to have a human for a wife, but that's what he's getting, so I am very inclined to pick this one up. Oh, actually Daniel L. Jensen has a little blurb. It says, Sylvia Mercedes hits every note that romantasy readers want in a novel. So if that doesn't convince you this is a good romantasy book, not sure what does. The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. I got this in a blind date with a book, and honestly, I've only ever read one other Lucy Foley book before. It was the, what was it called? Like The Wedding Guest or The Wedding List? I don't know. Maybe it says on here. Oh, The Guest List. It says it literally right there. I didn't love it. I found it to be very predictable and honestly really slow, but I think it'll be good to give Lucy Foley another shot with her writing because maybe that was just a fluke with me. This one says, a New Year's reunion in the most remote Scottish wilderness. A bunch of friends meet up there. One of these friends is a murderer and one won't make it out alive. So hopefully I enjoy this one more than the other Lucy Foley book I have read. This one is another thriller that I also got in another blind date with a book, but this is Bone White by Ronald Malfi, and this one says, a landscape of frozen darkness punctured by grim gray days, the feeling like a buzz in your teeth, the scrape of bone on bone. I feel like this one's definitely an older book. Again, I have never ever heard of this. I've never seen it. So this one could be a really interesting thriller read, and that it's not very popular. Maybe it was popular when it first came out, but I don't know. I just like reading books that I've never seen before, never seen hype for before, so that I can kind of go into it with my own expectations and not anyone else's. Make the Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake. This is obviously a Christmassy book. I am saving it to read in December. This one says two exes find themselves stuck at the same house for Christmas in this holiday romance. And this is actually the same author of Iris Kelly Doesn't Date. I've never read that, but I feel like that was pretty popular on Book Talk a few years ago. And this one is Woman Loves Woman, so have some of that representation in there. You just need a good little rom-com once in a while, you know? The Muse of Maiden Lane by Mimi Matthews. This is a historical fiction romance. Not gonna dive too much into that one, honestly, just because I feel like I'm not feeling it that much. But I haven't read it yet, so I'm not gonna give my opinions on something I've never read. I'm just not really inclined to reading it right now. Crossroads by Devney Perry. Devney Perry actually reached out to me and asked if she could send me this, and I said yes, obviously. So Devney, if you're watching this, thank you so much. This is a small town romance by her. I'm pretty sure it's like second chance romance, childhood friends to lovers, and I feel like that just hits me right in the heart every single time, so I'm very excited to read this. And then Sunlight, I believe, is the next book after this one, and I'm really excited for that one because I've heard it has an accidental pregnancy trope in it, and sometimes I just love that if it's done right, so definitely want to read this soon. Next, I got Scorched and Frigid by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Bloom Books sent these to me, so thank you, Bloom, if you're watching this. I'm pretty sure these are both Christmassy books as well. I mean, the covers definitely look a little Christmassy, but also I was at Barnes & Noble today and they had them on like the Christmas book tables. This one says, for once, I wanted to be something more than just a hookup. I wanted to be worth more. And then I'm actually more excited for Frigid, I think, because Scorch definitely sounds more like, I don't know what the right word, like spicy or lustful, but this one sounds like sweeter because it's kind of a best friends to lovers romance where the guy wants to be with the girl, but he thinks that she has no interest in him. Did I just say English? The guy wants to be with the girl, but he thinks that she has no interest in him. But the girl has like always been in love with the guy and she's just waiting for him, but obviously it's not happening. So I don't know if this one's gonna be more like a slow burn friends to lovers. Again, I just feel like I eat up friends to lovers. And these blue edges, so gorgeous. The Jewel of the Isle. This cover is so fun. This one says, two very indoorsy people rough it on a remote island after getting swept up in the hunt for a famed jewel in this dazzling new adventure rom-com. Honestly, the characters on the cover really just remind me of Tarzan and Jane, right? That's her name. Once again, sometimes you just need a little rom-com to spice things up, have a good palate cleanser. One's from Berkeley, so thank you, Berkeley. Love Light Farms. This is a very, very popular Christmassy book that I am just now getting around to reading. Again, I want to save this one for December. I think this one's friends to lovers. Ooh, two best friends fake date to reach their holiday happily ever after. Okay, so it has friends to lovers and it has fake dating. Fake dating is one of my favorite tropes after like enemies to lovers, friends to lovers, so I just know this is gonna be good, and it was super hyped up for a reason. So, ooh, Lost and Lassoed. I just got this one sent to me from the publisher as well, so thank you, Dial Press. This is the third book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series, so that is Done and Dusted, and then Swift and Saddled, now book 3, Lost and Lassoed, and this one I have been waiting for because it's enemies to lovers, and he's grumpy, so a grumpy cowboy, enemies, banter, tension, love it. I need to read this one very soon. Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I ordered this from Book Outlet when they were doing their $6.99 book deal or $5.99 book deal, whatever it was. And I think this one is more of like a historical romance fantasy. It's difficult to find a husband in Regency England when you're a young lady with only half a soul. I've heard a few people talk about this one and really enjoy it, so I hope I am also one of those people who enjoys it. The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. I love the Part of Your World series by Abby Jimenez, and this is her earlier works, and this is the first book in that little interconnected standalone series of her earlier works. There's 3 books, and I've had the other 2 books for a hot minute, but I never had the first book for whatever reason. So obviously I never read the other 2 because I wanted to read them in order. So I finally have the first one, and I'm really excited, and honestly, I'm very intrigued because if you didn't know, I friend-zoned my husband before we ever started dating. Well, we went on a date and I friend-zoned him after that date. But now we're married, so it all worked out. But I just think that's so funny that it's the friend zone, and that's what I did to him. How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. Again, I just love having thrillers to mix it into my usual reading of fantasy and romance. And this one, oh, did it come? I don't know when this one came out, but I wanted to read it around Halloween, never ended up buying it, and I feel like everyone loves Grady Hendrix thrillers and horror books, so I definitely wanted to try it out, and this one was very intriguing to me. I don't know, I just like paranormal stuff, and I'm pretty sure this one, the main character, her parents die, so then she has to sell the house, which is why it's called How to Sell a Haunted House. I'm really, really excited for this one, actually. Recipe for a Charmed Life by Rachel Linden. I just love the cover on this. It is so cute. This one says, after a day of unrivaled disappointments, a promising young chef finds every bite of food suddenly tastes bitter. To save her career, she travels to the Pacific Northwest to reconnect with her estranged mom and discovers a family legacy she never suspected. So I think this one's supposed to be just more like a women's fiction, contemporary fiction. Oh my gosh, you guys, this one I am so excited for. It's The Empress by Kristen Cass, and I'm pretty sure Kristen Cass is the author of the Marked series. That's like a YA romantasy series about vampires. I read it, I want to say like 2 years ago. No, it was more than 2 years ago. Because I think I don't know. I'm about to go on a tangent about when I read them, so I won't get into it. But my mother-in-law borrowed me all of those books because she had read them before. This is an ARC, and this will be out sometime in January, but I need to find the card that I got sent with this book. And it came with this character art, like, are you kidding me? It says, welcome to Towerfall. That is the world in which this book takes place. So it's a romantasy with fake marriage. He calls her Little Fawn. He's a broody male main character. It is tarot card inspired, and he ties her up. Like, excuse me? I got this in the mail, I want to say yesterday or the day before, and I read what it was about, and I was like, I immediately need to start reading this. I need to abandon my whole entire TBR and read this because I am just too intrigued. It says he's a ruthless, battle-scarred warrior with a dark past, and she's stuck pretending to be his wife to save a fantasy kingdom. So basically, in this world, tarot cards are real. Like, the characters are real, and that magic is real, and the main character, the female main character, gets stuck in this world where they're real, and she's trying to get out, and she runs into this warrior, and they basically have to pretend to be married so that they don't die. The whole he ties her up thing, honestly, is really, really selling me. So, you might catch me reading this sometime soon. They Bloom at Night. This was sent to me from Bloomsbury, so thank you so much, Bloomsbury. I think this one comes out in March. Maybe I'm making that up. Oh, March 4th. And this is like a teen horror book, so that is super fun. There have always been monsters all around us. This is a harrowing story about a teen searching for a future where she can finally be free. I just, like, this cover is so haunting and beautiful. I just am so intrigued just by the cover alone. So we'll definitely have to let you know my thoughts when I read this one. Nobody's Perfect by Sally Kilpatrick. This one is about Vivian and Mitch, who are getting divorced after 25 years of marriage. And this really blindsides Vivian because she feels like Mitch just asked for the divorce out of nowhere. So, in kind of like a rage, she gets online, she makes a video ranting about it, and that video blows up, becomes viral. And now she's kind of having to discover who she is after being with her husband for 25 years. It honestly sounds really sad, but also like kind of heartwarming with self-discovery. The Book Club Hotel by Sarah Morgan. I feel like this one has been kind of a popular Christmassy book, and this one is about the main character who her husband just died, and I think they like renovated this hotel together. So then the main character's lifelong friends check into the hotel and they have their little book club because obviously the main character is going through it. Her husband just died. Honestly, again, kind of reminds me of something Kristen Hanna would write because Kristen Hanna's writing just depresses me. So it looks like a cutesy little book, but I feel like it's definitely going to have way more of an emotional impact and really hit me in the feels, you know? Also saving this one for December. I think this is the last paperback, so we're getting through them. The Teller of Small Fortunes. This one's also from Ace Books, so thank you to Ace. And I actually started this one a little bit, but this is about a traveling fortune teller, and she runs into this group of like, not bandits, but she is running into these people, and this man has lost his daughter. His daughter was kidnapped or taken. They don't really know. He's looking for his daughter, basically. And the fortune teller sees in his future that he will be reunited with his daughter. So now she is traveling with them to help him find his daughter. So at first it just seemed like a really cozy, chill book. But then a few chapters later, like she meets these people, they tell her the problem, and now they're on this mission. And we're meeting a lot of really interesting characters along the way. It's magical. It is pretty cozy, but like obviously there's a bigger part at play here. Like really, really high stakes trying to find his young daughter. What Does It Feel Like by Sophie Kinsella. This one is fiction, but I know that the author was very inspired by her own story. So in this book, Eve is a successful novelist who wakes up one day in a hospital bed with no memory of how she got there. Her husband, never far from her side, explains that she had an operation to remove the large malignant tumor growing in her brain. So Eve is learning to walk, talk, write, and she really is struggling with this diagnosis, how to tell her kids. And I just feel like this is going to be so sad, but again, like kind of heartwarming. Sad because Sophie Kinsella, like, went through this, you know? It is essentially her story that she's telling, just with fictional names, fictional places, but heartwarming because she's getting through it. Oh, I did buy this book. Well, my husband bought me this book. But this is Under the Oak Tree by Suji Kim. And I guess this is inspired by like a comic series or a graphic novel series. And first of all, this cover is stunning, but then it has sprayed edges, which, like, look at those. And it says, "The first moment I saw you, I knew you would ruin me." And when I saw that, I looked to my husband and I was like, I need this. Like, this is selling me, so I need it. I told him to read the back of it because I was actually filming a TikTok, and I was like, read this, tell me if you think I'd like it. So he read it, and he was like, yeah, it sounds up your alley. So Lady Maximilian is forced to marry Sir Riften. So after their marriage, Riften leaves, just like up and gone. And he's gone for 3 years. And he comes back and he was like, yeah, when I was gone, I was offered to marry this other princess that I actually liked, but I came back for you. So my husband told me that, and I was like, yeah, this needs to come home with me. I'm honestly very, very excited to start this. This, along with the other one by Kristen Cast, I want to start immediately. Honestly, like, I feel like those are going to be what gets me out of my current reading slump because I just want to read them so bad, and I haven't felt that way about a book in like a month. Servant of Earth by Sarah Hawley. I got sent this also by Ace Books. This is an or an early copy. I got it before it came out, but I think it is out now. This is a fae romantasy. It says, in the underground fae realm, only the strongest and most ruthless have power, but a young human woman forced into a life of servitude is about to change everything. Honestly, doesn't that just give you, like, ACOTAR vibes? I don't know, it gives me ACOTAR vibes, so this is another one that I am very intrigued to read. Like, all of these romantasy books are calling me. They're begging me to pick them up and read them. And I feel like that is what I need right now. I do have a few books to finish first before I do that though, which this is how I get into a slump, you guys, is I make myself a TBR and I'm like, I need to stick to this TBR, especially when I'm like doing dedicated reading vlogs of certain types of books. Like right now I am filming a Reading Dark Academia only video, so like that's all I've been reading, right? But I'm in the mood to read romantasy, so when I'm forcing myself to read something I'm not in the mood for, that is causing a slump. So we might have a mood reading vlog coming soon, maybe. Oh, this one I'm also so excited for. Invisible Strings. 113 poets respond to the songs of Taylor Swift. So it's a bunch of poems, like inspired by Taylor Swift. So, and also like what Taylor Swift lyrics mean. I love Taylor Swift. And I love reading, obviously. So who is this? Ballantine Books. When they reached out to me and they were like, hey, would you be interested in receiving this book? I was like, heck yes, sign me up immediately. This one comes out December 3rd. Fortune's Kiss by Amber Clement. This one is also from the Nerd Fam, so thank you so much to the Nerd Fam for sending me this ARC. And this one, I feel like it gave me a mix of Caraval and Phantasma vibes when I first read about it. It says, welcome to Fortune's Kiss, where you can attain your wildest dreams, but the price of admission may be your life. So I really enjoyed the Caraval series. I loved Phantasma, so I'm hoping this is just as good. Heir of Stardust and Secrets. If you guys watched one of my reading vlogs from, I think, October, I read the ARC of this on my Kindle, so I got the physical copy sent to me by the author, so thank you so much to CC Hartley. My book of the month pick for November was P.S. I Hate You by Lauren Connolly, and this one's kind of a more sad romance. Basically, the main character's brother dies, and his wish when he died was for his sister to go travel to all these places that he is never going to get to travel to now. But she has to do it with his best friend, who she despises. So we got enemies to lovers, we got tension, and I just think like the whole dead brother aspect is going to be so sad, especially because I have 2 older brothers, so I just feel like this one's going to hit me in the feels, but also like make me feel better at the same time. Oh, they must be exes because it says 2 exes, 8 destinations, and love travels fast. I didn't realize they were exes. I thought they just didn't like each other. But, you know, it makes sense that they wouldn't like each other because they're exes. Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. I also ordered this one from Book Outlet. I don't think I mentioned what other ones I bought from Book Outlet, did I? Oh well. This is a spin-off series of the Kingdom of the Wicked series, which I also read in October. And this one is adult fantasy though, whereas Kingdom of the Wicked is YA fantasy. But I'm so excited to see the characters again in this series and learn about some of the characters that we saw in Kingdom of the Wicked a little bit more. And I think it's going to be a lot spicier, so we will have to see about that. And the last book in today's haul is Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. The Unmaking of June Farrow is one of my favorite books of all time. I've heard amazing things about this one as well, and I think it's kind of more like that magical realism fantasy vibe, like The Unmaking of June Farrow, so I just cannot wait. I would just like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart from all the publishers or authors who have sent me your work. I seriously am so grateful that I have this opportunity to read and enjoy these books and then give you guys my thoughts on them. And a little thank you to myself for ordering the books that I did, and to my husband for buying me any books that he did. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I don't know a ton about any of these books because I go into them blindly, but hopefully what I did tell you maybe sold you on them a little bit or inspires you to go and read them as well. And like this video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel. It would mean so much to me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!